42.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws. Please take notice that decisions of the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under a common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. I will move. Are there any Metro Council referrals today?
None today.
There are none today, and we have no public comment for this meeting.
Skip to the minutes.
I'm sorry?
The minutes. Consideration of the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, we'll move to the consideration of minutes. Are there any changes to the minutes?
Move for approval.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The minutes carry. Moving on to old business 2-2415, staff requests approval of a 10-year renewable license agreement between Metro Nashville government and the state of Tennessee, allowing Metro Parks to use a portion of the licensed premises to install, operate, maintain phase 2 of the 440 Greenway project. There's no cost to Metro to enter into this license agreement. This new 440 Greenway segment will connect Sevier Park to Gale Lane Park to Browns Creek Park and Greenway, and is part of the planned City Central Greenway. This is in council districts, both 17 and 25. There was an acquisition committee earlier. If we could have a report, please.
Yes, this item passed and it was approved unanimously by the acquisition committee.
Anything from the department?
No. Recommend approval.
All right. I'll entertain a motion. Motion to approve. Second. Yep. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. We'll move on to the consent agenda. We'll consider the consent agenda in total if there's no objection. Are there any changes to it? Comments? Motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. We got a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The consent agenda carries. Moving on to new business. 3-2402, nomination of park board officers as per section 1000.4 of the Metro Parks Policy Manual. This election will be held at our next meeting in April. We'll start first with nominations for chairperson.
I'd like to nominate Susanna Scott Barnes for chair.
Serve.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Michelle Steele for chair.
All right. Any other nominations? All right. Do we need to get a vote on? We can do it at the end, maybe. Okay.
Are we taking nominations for all of them? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And then okay, we'll move on to nominations for vice chairperson.
I'd like to nominate Susanna Scott Barnes for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Michelle Steele for vice chair.
Any more? All right, secretary. As always, our director.
I'd like to nominate Monique Odom for secretary.
All right, we have all our nominations. Entertain a motion for approval. Second. Second. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. All right, moving on to 03-2403, the Tennessee Titans Tennessee Football Inc. in partnership with Verizon requests acceptance of a grant in the amount of $35,000 to provide technology and digital support to the McPherson Park Community Center and Coleman Park Community Center. Each community center will receive $17,500 towards technology, space restoration, and furnishings. There's no required match or other obligation by parks associated with this grant. This is in Council District 5 and 16.
Staff recommends approval, and I'd just like to say this is a part of a great partnership with the generosity of the Titans Foundation. You all know and have approved already an improvement of a technology room at Luby Community Center. And and they have been gracious enough to expand this to 2 of our other community centers, and we expect this to be an overwhelming success, and hope you will approve it.
That's great.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify about the, not obligation, but the expectation of recognition or branding. Is there anything to share about that?
No, other than, when we receive the grant, there'll be some media attention around that. But other than that, there's no branding.
No signage or anything?
No, that's not a part of it.
And just the technology is used for the users of the community centers or
Yes.
the staff?
The users,
The
park
users.
users.
Yes,
yeah.
okay. Thanks for clarifying. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. 032404, staff request acceptance of a grant of $5,000 from the Tennessee Titans, Tennessee Football, Inc. to continue the Titans NFL Flag League into the spring of 2024. This funding will be used for registration fees and scholarships for children participating in the Titans NFL Flag League. There's no required match or other obligation by parks associated with this grant. Council district it's citywide. Same discussion? Or yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Same. Entertain a motion. I got a motion on the floor. A second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. 032405, Centennial Park Conservancy requests acceptance of a staffing grant for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $20,278 to fund the continuation of a part-time position in the Parthenon Museum store. Central Park Conservancy will reimburse the grant total amounts exceeded due to hourly wage changes or COLA, etc. This grant does not require a match or any type of further fulfillment by Metro Parks. It's Council District 21.
Staff recommends approval.
Entertain a motion.
And second.
Any discussion? Yes.
I just wanted to make a comment that I really appreciate this type of partnership, because I feel like, some of these can be complicated. To try to have a parks employee being funded by a kind of an outside.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Please believe me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just, wanted to acknowledge that and feel like, it'd be great to see more of those types of funding opportunities and to deal with the complicated. But anyway, thanks.
Thank you for that.
Literally almost the exact same comment.
There we go. Great.
I make a motion to approve.
Have we done? I think we've already done that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Short discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. 032406, staff request approval of a community partnership agreement between Metro Parks and the Junior NBA for enhancing community centers' youth basketball programs by offering additional resources such as Junior NBA coach certification training, access to practice plans and curriculum, exclusive Junior NBA league branding, additional equipment, and options for youth to participate in NBA experiences. This is citywide.
Staff recommends approval.
Move for approval.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Moving to 3407. The Nashville Downtown Partnership requests approval to amend the current lease between Metro Parks and the Nashville Downtown Partnership to include management operations of Walk of Fame Park. This is in Council District 19.
Staff recommends approval, and we also have guests from the Nashville Downtown Partnership to offer some comments.
Hi, everyone. I'll only take a couple of minutes of your time. My name is Casey Stern, and I want to say thank you to this board and to Director Odom for allowing us the time to speak with you here today. I'm representing the Nashville Downtown Partnership, and in 2024, we'll be celebrating 30 years serving the downtown neighborhood and all who live, work, play, and invest there. I'm here with Alicia Lane and Tom Turner. We've had the privilege of working in Church Street Park since 2021 and officially partnering with this board and Metro Parks on its management and operations for a little over a year. So I just want to give you a couple of updates on what that last year has looked like. We entered into a management and operations agreement, and that stands through October the 31st of 2027. We commit a minimum of $240,000 annually for clean, safe, active, and attractive initiatives in the park. We've installed a full staffing complement and produce near daily activations, thanks Tennessee weather. Every event in the park is free and open for everyone to enjoy, open to the public. I will say once we get more than about 100 people in that space, it gets a little tight. I would ask Alicia to give you an impact report on last year.
Hello, Alicia Lane. Well, in 2023, Church Street Park has contributed to the clean, safe, active, and attractive environment by hosting over 1,100 free events for all. Kids of all ages have enjoyed arts and crafts, story time, and even STEM activities, while all ages, including the 18,000 residents, 78,000 employees, and 14 million visitors, are welcome to enjoy a wide variety of free events such as yoga, jazz, and more, painting and more. We cannot exclude the 5,006 dogs that call downtown home. These pups visit Church Street Park for doggy brunch, puppy costume parades, and most importantly, to conduct their general business. In collaboration with schools, the main library, a variety of public and private partnerships with local businesses, these daily activations contribute to the clean, safe, active, and attractive Church Street Park we have today. And I'll hand it back over to Casey. Thank you.
So what brings us here today is a similar opportunity in Walk of Fame Park. Its central location in the heart of the downtown core positions it perfectly for active use by and with hospitality, cultural, and recreational partners. There's an undeniably strong case with the partners in the neighborhood to expand the space's active use and programming, directly benefiting the downtown community. We also think there is substantial potential for those beyond the neighborhood, inviting them to rethink this space as more than just a special event ticket, but an asset in their downtown neighborhood. Just to give you an idea, there were over 30 million visits last year on Broadway from First Avenue to Fifth Avenue. So within a couple of blocks of Walk of Fame Park, you had about anywhere from 11 to 14 million visitors every year. And we envision a similar operating structure to Church Street Park. We would staff every single day from dawn to dusk. We would have daily activations in the park that are free for all to enjoy. And when the park is not otherwise permitted for external use, as we know that it gets a lot of private use throughout the year, and even seasonal activations throughout the holiday seasons, we are hoping to see this park expand as an opportunity to position the downtown neighborhood as clean, safe, active, and attractive for both the downtown residents, visitors, and the greater Nashville area alike. Thank you.
All right. So, have you given the staff a...
Yeah, staff recommends approval. As you have seen and you all probably know, particularly those of you who have been in Nashville for some time and those of you who have been on the board, you know what Church Street Park was before this agreement was approved. It is overwhelmingly successfully activated each day, and I've heard nothing but positive reports. This is a good partnership and agreement, and have been advised that Walk of Fame Park could fit nicely into the existing contract that we have, and so because of the benefits of that, and of course this will remain as Church Street Park, a public open space, and they are able to, Nashville Downtown Partnership is able to activate and program at a level, quite frankly, that we cannot. It's to the benefit of all the visitors and residents of the city. So, of course, we support it.
Just
have y'all... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, just a quick question. Staff from dawn to dusk, what do you do after dark? What happens after dark?
So at the moment, the feedback that we've received from all of the residents and stakeholders in the Church Street Park area is that the lighting and the staff during the day really does make a difference for the activities overnight. There is security monitoring in the park, and we think at Walk of Fame there could be the opportunity for some additional patrols after dark.
Have y'all discussed this because they have invested so much in the park with Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp? Are they on board with all this?
Yeah, we've done our homework with the Convention Center Authority, with Music City Center, the Skirmore Symphony Center, a lot of those partners in that area, and we absolutely plan to have more involvement from them in an advisory capacity.
But does Dina and team know about this?
Yes.
Okay. And there was no pushback?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So I think, any other questions? Or?
Yeah. First of all, I just wanted to make the comment how much I appreciate what you're doing, because Church Street Park in particular has a special place in my heart. So thank you all for that partnership. In the material, the figure 800,000 minimum was listed, but your breakdown has 240 for each park. So can you explain the math?
Yeah, absolutely. So the current agreement, that Director Odom and I were referring to, is a minimum of $240,000. We have additional that's allocated for the use of the park, but to be in line with that existing contract, that's what the figure in the slides is referencing.
Okay. So the contract is 240, but the expectation is 800, or
Mm-hmm.
okay.
We anticipate that's about what it will be to staff, clean, and activate the park.
Wow. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? Entertain a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
y'all. Thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to 032408, staff requests approval to amend the current memorandum of understanding between Metro Parks and the Board of Fair Commissioners to include a 5-year extension for the operation and maintenance agreement of Fair Park Phase 1. This is in Council District 17.
Staff recommends approval. As you all may recall, we have a operations and maintenance agreement with the Fair Board for what is now called Fair Park. That is not Parks property, so we do maintain and take care of it and operate it, and this request is just to extend that agreement.
All right, I entertain a motion.
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
I have a clarifying question. So on arrangements like this, how does the police, like, is that maintained by Park Police or Metro Police?
So I'll say both, because all of ours are both. So to say in the instance where we don't have any Park Police on duty, Metro Police there is able to patrol. So it operates as if it were a Metro Park. It's just not officially Metro Parks property. It is Fairgrounds property.
Got it. Okay. So this MOU extends it to 2027, just another 5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Moving on to 032409, the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department's Aviation Unit. Request approval to display an Airbus helicopter at the Percy Warner Park Equestrian Center on April 2nd, 2024 during the Community Police Academy event. The Nashville Police Department highly trained pilots will ensure that the arrival and departure occur in a manner with safeguards for members of the community. This is in Council District 34.
Staff recommends approval. You have a letter from Chief Drake in your packet for this request and supporting this.
Any discussion, questions? Motion?
Motion for approval.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Last new business agenda item, 032410, staff request approval of a donated conservation greenway easement for a new segment of the Cumberland River Greenway located at 1710 54th Avenue North. The proposed greenway will be designed, constructed, and maintained by the development in perpetuity and will add 3.01 acres of conserved open space to the Metro Park system at no cost to Metro. This is located in Council District 20.
Be deferred to the acquisition committee.
Deferred to acquisition. All right. Okay, we're going to move on to special presentations. Today we have our department presentation from Finance and Administration Division for the annual update.
Good afternoon. I am Shanita White, Assistant Director for Finance and Administration, and we are here to present our annual update. The Finance Division is divided into 5 subsections, which includes Finance and Accounting, Human Resources and Payroll, Safety, Information and Technology, and our Storeroom and Warehouse. Our Finance and Accounting Division provides day-to-day management and oversight of the department's finances. This includes accounts payable, accounts receivable, grants management, and budget compliance of both our operating and capital budgets. The Human Resources team provides HR, personnel, and payroll support for the entire Metro Parks Department, including consultation and guidance on all areas of employee relations, staffing, recruitment, supervisor and leadership coaching, corrective action, civil service rules and policy interpretation and compliance, and a long list of other routine and critical personnel transactions. Within this team consists the payroll team, who works diligently to make certain employees are paid and paid properly and stayed informed as to their personnel accruals. The safety team inspects, monitors, and determines safety needs, deficiencies, compliance issues, establishes best practices, and maintains our facilities and properties, working in the best interest of our employees, visitors, and patrons' well-being. Safety provides or secures expert training and instructional experts inside and outside of Metro Parks for various classes, such as the recent blood-borne pathogen training, CPR training, hazardous communications, are just to name a few. Safety also tracks our IOD activities and legal claims. Our IT division provides desktop support for the department's workstations, hardware, desktop operating systems, and seeks resolutions of any internal issues. They also provide an assessment of desktop needs and cost estimates and maintains our computer inventories. Our storeroom maintains an on-hand inventory of various maintenance, custodial, and golf and office supplies so that those divisions can easily obtain them for day-to-day use. The department is authorized for 1,390 positions, which equates to 711.11 FTEs. As you can see, we have a vast majority of our positions filled at the time, but we do anticipate this number to increase as our seasonal hires begin over the next few months. Our FY24 revenue budget is $15,743,900, with the golf being our biggest source of revenue at 40%. Sportsplex admissions accounts for 20%, and Parthenon revenue is closely behind at 14%. And then we have the miscellaneous categories that make up the remaining 25%. Our FY24 operating expense budget is $63,683,500. As you can see, the breakdown between salaries, benefit, and all other, 56% of our budget is in the salary category, whereas 20% are benefits, and the 24% in all other. Some of our all other categories include utilities, internal service fees, and that leaves us with approximately $6.9 million to do everything else within the department. Now, drum roll, please. Our FY25 budget acts.
I love it.
Our FY25 budget requests total $6,197,600. As you can see, they range across the entire Parks Division, with remaining funding for our Old Hickory Community Center, funding for our council liaison position, additional support staff for golf courses, security concerns for our community centers, community center pools, the remaining upgrades of our M&R worker positions to M&R seniors. We did the maintenance division last year, and this is to upgrade golf as well. Some needs due to the park system being expanded, some maintenance positions in that area, and also an increase in grounds and mechanical needs within our maintenance area. Additional tree crew for maintenance and additional custodial staff. A pilot program they would like to start for robotic mowers, and also expanding our golf programming in the clubhouses and for additional aquatic staff at the sportsplex. So that's it for the finance and administration. Any questions?
It appears that about 19% of our positions are unfilled. Last year, my memory was about 22% of our positions were unfilled. How are we proceeding with trying to get these budgeted positions filled?
A number of those positions are in the seasonal pool. And Aaron, you have anything else to add to that?
I think I heard the question properly. Let me make sure. You were saying the comparison for last year to this year as far as the hires?
Looks like about 19% of our positions vacant full-time divided by budgeted full-time is about 19% unfilled. My memory last year is about 22% were unfilled. Obviously, if you got a budgeted position, you either want to fill it or it doesn't need to be in the budget. So that's sort of my broad question about it.
Sure. One of the things that we're doing, I think you said, what are we doing to kind of address that? One of the things last year that we actually did was the raising of the pay for the seasonal. Seasonal is such a big part of what we do. And getting the people in helps operations, helps those who are already employed, and so we were able to raise those last year. That's just in the seasonal side, but actually overall, I think we saw about a 30% increase in hires, in actual hires, and that's across the board. That doesn't mean just all full-time positions. Some of those could be even pool positions or seasonal or part-time positions as well. But we look at it from year to year and actually make sure that we're being competitive as far as the salaries are concerned, and also make sure that it's a good opportunity for those who come in and convert some of those individuals who are seasonals, or even in our programs like our Power Youth program, that may want to come on to full-time or regular positions. Did I hit on what you?
Really, just my question is, if we have budgeted 700 full-time equivalent,
Yes.
and we've got 132 vacant, how do we get to having 700 staffed is the real question.
I think continue to push what we're doing right now. Money's only half of it. I think just make sure we do get the word out. All of our seasonal positions, very rarely are they posted on our traditional way, like on our Nashville.gov. Most of those are actually for the community centers and other centers, golf courses, and those type of things. Continuing to get the word out and make sure that we do those conversions when they're available and when the individuals are available will help us actually get those numbers down.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I noticed the utilities were a big part of $4 million or something like that. And I know we struggle with money to maintain things, but has there been any sort of thinking about ways to, I know I'm in the real estate business, and so, we go in and retrofit our lights to save energy long term. Sometimes you can get low interest loans to do that from the TVA and that sort of thing. I just wonder whether there's any way to analyze that math to see whether we can get that number down. This may be for a different discussion, but it'd be nice to think through, I saw the electric mowers, with green energy and all that sort of thing, and just, be in the parks and all. Maybe there's some way to save energy. Maybe we might have to spend money to save money, but a lot of times there's a payback period that makes sense for a park system that has, forever in mind. So I don't expect you to know that answer. Maybe I'm just talking to myself, but
I think maintenance, when they go in, if they can when they go in to change out different lighting systems, they do look to change those over to the more efficient.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I'm just going to say, one I'd like to recognize, and I think the amount of things that are done as well as the variety of things that are done in the Parks Department, and then to see that there's 15, 16 people who are kind of navigating and managing all of that, just complimenting that. And then it seems that a lot of our forecasted costs are in somewhat alignment with our revenue. I saw a lot of things that, again, focus on our community centers, focus on golf, and being able to see it. So it seems like at least there is a strategy to make sure that those things that are most heavily used, heavily demanded, it seems like our budget kind of aligns with those. Is that am I reading that correctly? Is that some of the thought and things that went into that?
I mean, we do try to align those things together. As you may know, that our the revenue that comes from our golf does not 100% cover the cost to operate those that particular function, but we do as increases as when we revamp a golf course or reopen one, we do try to put in those utility costs. There may be an increase in irrigation because they're having to water more or bring in those greens. We do try to analyze that during our budget submission time to make sure that we are aligning those properly.
And so I will just add, not to steal your thunder, but I will just add that you all, remind you all that the revenue that we, our revenue sources go back to the general fund. So we do not retain any of the revenue that we raise here in the department. And in addition to support what Shanita was just saying, as you all may recall, I announced in my report a couple of times over the past couple of months that in June, our staff will be reviewing all of our fees and charges department-wide. And one of the things that we will look at is, and continue to look at, is cost recovery in making a recommendation to you all as the park board. We hope to have that recommendation to you all by December of this year or January of next year to have those go into effect in July.
And I'll say this, I think, I do want to be clear. I think, I know the numbers aren't going to always be telling when it comes to revenue, because so much of what we offer, both in our green space and our facilities, are free of charge. And I think that's one of the greatest services that we provide. But I also think that when we do have things in our park system that are showing that there is demand through some revenue generation, being able to reinvest in those, I think, is also something that we should take pride in. So I was glad to see it.
All right, any more comments? Thank you so much. Appreciate the report. Now we'll move on to Friends Group's presentations. Friends, first up is Friends of Green Hills Park to present annual update. And we limit these to 7 minutes, please.
Sure. Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Bradley, and I'm part of the Friends of Green Hills Park. I want to start off by thanking you all for your time, for being here, both to the board and the staff. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you and appreciate you all taking the time to maintain and improve the parks in Metro. So I'll jump right in, but if you have questions as I go through this, please feel free to stop me and I'd be happy to answer anything. So as you probably can guess and probably already know, Green Hills Park is in Green Hills, right? But as the name might suggest, it's really not in an area where there's a lot of green space. And Green Hills Park serves kind of a unique need in the community for open green space. It's right next to JT Moore. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to highlight today just two broad categories of things. I'd like to highlight some of the improvements that we've been focused on, as well as some of the ways that we've tried to engage the community. A lot of people don't even know that this is a park. It's right next to JT Moore, as I said, so a lot of people think it's associated with the school, and we try to correct people as often as we can and tell them, you've got an opportunity here to be involved in this. So one of the things I'm really excited about that we did is we installed, with the help of the Parks Department, a new shade structure that provides shade in an area of the park that was completely open to the sun. It's right next to the softball and baseball fields. And not only does this provide shade, but it also gives people of all abilities an opportunity to enjoy shade, because there is another structure in the park, but it's kind of deeper into the park, and this is right next to the parking lot. So this was a great opportunity to make the park more user-friendly for everyone. So we were really excited about that. Along the same lines, we had some Eagle Scout projects, a bridge, as well as disc golf that were installed. And along the same lines as that, Girl Scouts helped us out with the crosswalk, which is really important because of the traffic that is brought in, by the school right there. And this allows for people to cross from where you park to get over to the park. And then we also installed, with the help of Parks Department, a water fountain that's right next to that new shade structure. And you can see, we've got the bowl at the bottom for our furry friends that like to visit the park. A couple other items that we've done in the past are an obstacle course, bike racks, that people get out, really enjoy the obstacle course, and the bike racks have been great because there hasn't been a place to park your bikes there until then. So I talked a little bit about, those are some of the improvements. I'm happy to answer any questions on those, but I think those are all pretty straightforward. One of the things that we've done over the past 7 years to engage the community is the Green Hills Park Festival. And so this started off as a pretty small event. I think last year we estimate there were about 3,000 people at this event. We had over 40 local businesses attend the event. We also had 40 kid entrepreneurs. So these are kids who create their own products. They had tents out there. They were selling these products. It was a lot of fun to walk around and see what the kids had come up with. And then at the end of the event, we had a movie as the sun went down. You see here the picture of everybody watching the film. So this has been a great way to bring people, get them engaged in the park. And then once they're engaged, we can do things like improve the park and have events like removing invasive species. I know this is something that a lot of the Friends groups do because honeysuckle and other invasives are so pervasive in our area. But to get people out there and to improve the park. And so those are just a few of the highlights that we have. Happy to answer any questions. I think, looking forward, we're going to be doing the Green Hills Park Festival again in September. So we welcome, any of you to come out, join us. We'd love to have you there. And we'll also be engaging the community in further projects to kind of help to improve our park. So thank you again for the opportunity to present to you all, and really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the report. Any comments, questions? Thanks for all y'all do. All right, our second Friends group is Fort Nashboro for the annual update.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I'm Ellen Taylor, and I think y'all remember when I was here last year, I was just crying in my soup. But, boy, things have really improved, and thank you all so much for your help in that reminding me. I've got to say that I'm so grateful that they have done something about the homeless issue over at Fort Nashboro. And I guess they've really, I don't know who all's doing it, whether it's the Metro Police or y'all's police, but we're really, really grateful to the point that we are ready now to start helping out over there. But I didn't feel comfortable for our women to go over there and do things with all that going on. We're much encouraged by the progress of the fort and its environs. The area is cleaned up and the homeless are resituated so that tourists and families are coming around again. My friend Elizabeth Mayhall from the district says the Downtown Partnership, I guess y'all are still here anyway. The Downtown Partnership has taken over the Church Street Park and is interested in doing something for the Riverfront Park as well. We've also been approached by Historic Tours of America concerning finishing and making a tourist attraction of the fort. Both our board and park staff wish to hear them out. Our issue would be to allow free admittance for 5th grade bus tours and certain others, like DAR. Our friends group would ensure that the purpose and message of Fort Nashville remains historically correct as an interpretive center. We have the necessary money for David Curry to obtain and install new signage around the fort. These signs would have the exact words as before, but be constructed from a better quality material to withstand the outside elements. Jim Hester says a QR code could be placed somewhere on the signs to allow people to obtain more information. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be more upbeat today. Y'all have any questions?
Thanks for your patience with us, and we're glad things have turned around. So, all right.
We are too.
Thanks for all y'all do. We'll move to capital projects update. Joe?
Hello, everyone. Great stuff going on. One thing important to note, we were able to hire our last project manager slash planner, Alana Hibler. She came to us as a project manager from the Sheriff's Department. So excited to have her. She was able to start with us last Tuesday. So some important updates. First in Gay, the construction documents are at 95%, and we should be able to have that out to bid in the next 60 days. Bordeaux Gardens, the playground and the shelter, started construction last week and should be done by the end of March. Cedar Hill, we're working on completing that application and should have a package with you with the concept plan and everything here for approval in the next month or two. Fort Negley, the stonework repair phase 2 has been completed. Great, it looks fantastic. If you get a chance, go by and take a look. Madison Station will have an updated design. I was hoping to have it today, but we'll have it on Thursday after the last round of staff comments. Mariposa, we have the 60% design currently in the review. Old Hickory is ready to award. We should have that awarded and the demo started within the next 30 to 60 days. Ravenwood Phase 1, the only thing left there is the restroom. We have the restroom ordered and we have PO issued for the site work. We're hoping to have that in and operational by end of May. And then the Trinity Hills project, we're having our kickoff meeting this afternoon, so exciting times. Any questions?
That's great, thanks. Good. All right, Greenways update, Cindy?
Good morning. I'm going to start off with really great news. We have filled our last project manager 3 position, and I'll introduce you to Logan Elliott. Logan is familiar to a lot of you all. He came to Greenways from the Metro Planning Commission, and over the last few years, he's worked with us on many of the projects that are Greenway projects that are developer driven. So as we're going through that SP process, so he's very familiar, and we're just really happy to have him. So, and then we have our 2 technical specialist positions. We've received applications for those, and we'll start interviewing shortly on those as well. So happy to say the capital projects that we have, which are all in design, are moving forward. And no surprises there, just continuing to get that work done. A couple of those are in permitting, so that just takes a bit of time before we can put those out to bid. And we're continuing to work on our developer-driven greenway projects. One of those, the license agreement that you approved today on the 440 Greenway, that license will go on to council, and that is the greenway that's, we're submitting our permitting to FEMA, so it's just going to take a few months for them to approve that, but wanted to let you know that. Two, we have many developer-driven greenway projects going on, but two of those that are very active right now are the Harpeth River Greenway at Ariza Bellevue. We're still working with those developers as they work on their final site plan. And the Richland Creek Greenway at Bellevue Plaza. Those folks are working on their variance that has to go to Stormwater Management Committee, and that's part of that is the work that they're doing on the greenway and the buffers there. So that actually goes for their first meeting tomorrow. And we just completed the Wharf Park to Riverfront Park Greenway feasibility study, and we'll have that available online to look at. But that's a study to look at not only having the Greenway connection at Rolling Mill Hill, but also once we start, once Wharf Park becomes under development, it's down at the lower section, and just trying to see how we can make that connection a very challenging site there. That is all I have today. Happy to take questions. It is a lot.
It's good.
Well, I would like to say I think with all the things you have going on, I'm glad to get help and more hands.
Very glad.
And I think got a great addition with Logan.
Yeah.
So really excited to hear that news.
Thank you. We are too.
Thank you, Cindy. All right, special events and activities, Jackie?
Good afternoon, everybody. So if you notice, as the days get longer, so do your list of events. So I'm going to try to go through this very quickly. We have 11 Easter egg hunts that are scheduled in Hadley, East Centennial, Cleveland, Shelby, Coleman, Green Hills, Richland, and Southeast Parks. The one at Southeast is one of the largest Easter egg hunts in the city. I think it averages, I don't know, about 1,000 kids and their parents. It's a very successful event. So for those people who are listening on TV, if you want any information regarding any of the Easter egg hunts going on at our community centers, you can check our website, which is www.nashville.gov/parks. Metro's annual Arbor Day is scheduled for March 20th at East Park. Memorial trees will be donated by the Nashville Tree Foundation, and tree seedlings will be given away by the Tennessee Department of Agriculture, and the Division of Forestry. Two people that we know right now, or at least I know right now, that will be honored is Sizway Harding and Representative Bill Beck. Memorial trees will be planted for them. On March 21st from noon to 5 p.m., the Kurdish American Cultural Association is hosting Nowruz in Centennial Park. Nowruz is the first day of the Iranian New Year, and we know it'll be a great celebration. We have two St. Patrick Day marathons. One is on March 9th at Two Rivers Park, and the Music City Half Marathon is at 10:30 on March 16th in Shelby Park. That concludes my report.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, report of the director.
Thank you,
Ms. Odom.
Mr. Chair. Per usual, I'm going to go ahead and encourage you all to look at your list of events and attend, invite somebody else to attend with you, or just stop by a community center or nature center while you're out conducting your business. Since our last park board meeting, we are excited that we received about $32 million in the capital spending plan. I mentioned, I mentioned that last month, but it has now been approved by Metro Council. And as I mentioned, many of the items included in that request were deferred maintenance items, so I'm excited about that. It also included development of Mill Ridge Park and Mariposa Parks. Additionally, you all may know this, we will receive about $5 million through the mayor's participatory budgeting program. And we're excited about this because we got funding for a number of playground improvements. A lot of them were high priority on our list. And so with this funding, we will not have to take our existing deferred maintenance funding to get these done, but we'll get this additional funding. So we're excited about that, and that funding should be released in the next couple of weeks. I did want to mention that last month when Stefan Nellums did his presentation about community centers and cultural arts division, he mentioned the Celebrate Nashville Cultural Festival, as you all know, that has been happening here in Nashville for 30 plus years. It is held in the first Saturday in October in Centennial Park, and attended by about 50,000 people. Up to this point, we have used a sole source contract for our organizer. She's wonderful, who puts that on and works with our staff. We've been advised by procurement that we need to bid that, and that is how we are planning to move through that process. I did want to mention that to you because we are in March. The festival is in October, and we know how processes, how they can be protracted. But we are looking forward to an exciting Celebrate Nashville Festival in October. But I did want to make you aware that we're seeing a little bit of a shift in processing that contract. Also wanted to mention that we have started the preliminary phase of the solicitation process for the management agreement for Ascend Amphitheater. So we have engaged with procurement on that and look forward to moving into that, publishing a solicitation and getting that awarded hopefully by the start of next year. Couple final things I have. I'd like to congratulate Darlene Morrow, who is a superintendent in our community recreation division. She will be inducted into the Tennessee State University Athletics Hall of Fame next month. She is she's a multi-sport athlete, or was. But she's wonderful. Sorry, darling. She's a fantastic leader in our department. We're glad to have her, and I just want to make sure that I recognize her. You may have seen her featured in our newsletter, I think, last month. And I'd also like to offer a congratulations to Dr. Michelle Steele for her recent Athena Award nomination. I think that's coming up the end of this month, but I did want to offer congratulations to her as well. That's it.
All right. Any comments or further agenda items?
Thank you for including us through the month on the communications related to the emerald ash borer issue where it was coming up in Warner Parks. And for the listening public, I think it would be helpful for you to report on, especially I'm thinking of the letter that Kristen Wilson, I guess, in collaboration with the Parks Department, sent. And so if we can.
That was a collaboration, a multi-department collaboration. And I'll just say thank you to the mayor's office, the legal department, Metro Water Services, and most especially our parks professionals who are trying to do their job. But we, I guess, resolved to go back and make some revisions, some communications updates in terms of the website. To be clear, we had been in communications with all stakeholders about emerald ash borer / hazardous trees. And so, long story short, we'll do some updates and revisions to our communications. We will engage. What I wanted to do, and has been communicated through this letter is to make sure that whatever revisions we made to emerald ash borer or hazardous tree removal was consistent across the park system. And I believe because NDOT and Metro Schools MDHA will also be removing trees, that what we were doing was consistent and not just focused on one particular area. But there will be some consideration for, in particular, natural areas and how any trees that are deemed hazardous, how those are handled, and working again with developing a committee for replanting, and then coordinating some with our maintenance team will coordinate some with the Friends of Warner Parks, and then I'll mention too, in this case, it's Friends of Warner Parks, in where we have removals of hazardous trees or ash trees throughout the county. We will certainly work with the community.
I hope it's okay for me to make a comment on that. I guess I just want to make sure that we go above and beyond with communicating. And I was thinking about the bill that I believe it was a couple of years ago that related to tree removals, where there was signage. There was going to be signage on particular trees along greenways, and I don't know if that applies here because it's not in a greenway area, but I just want to make sure, not just this spray color, because I don't think the pedestrian public would know what colors mean sprayed on trees.
So as you may recall, I'll go back and then move forward. As you may recall, we did Metro Parks, Metro government did an extensive public awareness, effort about emerald ash borer, what the markings on the trees meant, etc. There was signage. There will be additional signage with a QR code so that people can, scan it and know what the signage is all about and what the markings are all about. That it will go to a website that's managed by Metro Water Services, who oversees the urban forestry program. So yes, there will be additional signage. To be clear, we have communicated, communication started back in 2019 about emerald ash borer and even hazardous trees. So I want to be clear about that, but yes, we'll make some revisions and revise those communications.
And then my last comment is just related to not the emerald ash borer affected trees, but trees that were deemed hazardous, and places where there might be there's room for interpretation. So I think those are just areas of concern that I want to make sure that we're continuing to assess and making sure that our contractors are communicating and that the department's on board. So there's nothing worse than cutting it down a tree that might not have needed to come down. And I'm not saying that happened necessarily, but just, people are passionate about trees, and I'm one of them.
I too am passionate about trees, and I'm even more passionate about folks being safe in parks. But to your point, and as you acknowledged in the letter, the joint letter that we sent, it does acknowledge revisions and coordination and some room for a second assessment if there is any kind of question mark about whether a tree is hazardous or not, and what making that determination will entail. So yes, absolutely.
I just want to clarify. So the determination would be from the maintenance department at parks, or is there because you were talking about how much it was affecting so many different departments. Who would be the governing body or the department that would be helping to make those determinations?
So as mentioned in your letter, there'll be some involvement from Metro Water Services urban forestry program, but then too, in this particular situation, if the Friends group would like to procure an arborist, and there are conditions and specifications that professional would need to meet, they could get a second assessment, and we'll move through that as we need to.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other comments? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.